Today's program description, product data syndication, the key to your brand success is as follows. Simply put, reliable product data syndication is key to a brand success. Product manufacturers and merchants must publish and synchronize product data across all their selling platforms or risk decreased sales and loyalty due to poor experiences. When working with product data syndication, the big pain is that data standards in use and the preferred exchange methods differ between the participants. Besides, not one system or technology platform stores every piece of data that is required by your trading partner. Transactional data in enterprise resource planning, digital assets and content management systems, and product characteristics in a product information management system, to name a few. The aim of product data syndication is to take that pain away from both the manufacturer side and the merchant side. Learn in this webinar how everything is put together for the purpose of sharing data to a trading partner. Presenting today's program is Pulakesh Barua, President of DataZen Engineering, an innovative provider to help customers manage and grow their businesses by transforming data into actionable information. Experienced in global business operations with diverse experience working in North America, helping customers succeed in business process engineering and supply chain data management. So without further ado, I'm pleased to turn the program over to Pulakesh.
Thank you, Kate. Let me make sure, Kate, you can hear me and you can also see my screen that I'm sharing on my laptop.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So good afternoon and thank you for attending the webinar today. I want to talk about the product data syndication, in short, PDS, from a process as well as technology standpoint and share what is happening in the industry. As you know, not one system or technology platform stores every piece of data that is required by your trading partner. For instance, transactional data is stored in ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning system, digital assets in content management systems, and product characteristics in a product information management system. We call it PIM. According to Gartner research, bad data quality destroys business value, and that equates to roughly $15 million per year in losses. This huge amount of waste tells us that brands are failing to manage the customer experience aspects that is needed for the business. In today's connected world, consumers are expecting what they need to know and when, regardless of how they interact for a purchase decision. It is imperative that brands must provide just that, a consumer-focused product data and associated content supported by a process. So let's talk about what is involved. First and foremost, build a robust product data syndication process, or PDS, that ties to various organizations within the company and, more importantly, the systems. Second, expand your products and services. Third, incorporate data analytics where warranted to know more as what is happening and what can be done to improve. And finally, personalize for your audience, whether it is from a manufacturer standpoint or a merchant's. For instance, it is the manufacturer's wish is to reflect the product and the content in the merchant's website on time with accurate information, meaning manufacturer changes descriptions or product attributes, it is expected that merchants' websites reflect them right away. And remember, manufacturer could be sending data to hundreds of merchants. In the same token, if merchants carry data and content from multiple manufacturers, then it is expected that certain data is solely controlled by them for each manufacturer, such as quantity on hand, for every product they carry from different manufacturers. However, if your product data isn't suitable for the digital marketplace, together with prices, photos, and other mandatory standard attributes needed for selling, either through channel partners or direct, you are pretty much out of the game. Now, this I am talking about from a manufacturer standpoint. Product data standards for the internet is where things get tricky. Think from a merchant standpoint for a moment. Can you imagine if they support multiple suppliers or manufacturers and each calls the same data in different ways? It is a nightmare. So merchants will appreciate if everyone calls the same and, more importantly, provides them the same format of data they need. All they need to do then is update certain data that they are in control. Now, navigating the world of product data standards, such as UNSPSC and ETEM, are acronyms that take some time getting used to. So these standards organizations are helping to simplify the online experience for consumers or buyers, eventually through the manufacturers and the merchants. And the value prop for each one is pretty much the same. Align your product data with these standards will ultimately save you money. So why product data syndication then? For manufacturers and brand owners, sharing and keeping product data accurate and updated with retailers and distributors or merchants is essential to their success. But getting it to the right place at the right time and keeping it up to date can be difficult because every recipient has unique requirements and formats, which can even differ across both physical and digital channels. So what you can see here are some data exchange methods and technologies that are very popular. I'm sure there are others. The basic method is simply sending an email with attachment or sharing using a box folder or through a portal. This is usually a manual process. Then the next step is loading into a server using a FTP client or Files Transfer Protocol client, or leveraging JSON. This is automated or partly automated, meaning someone has to write some computer programs to make this happen both at the source and the target. Usually, IT folks within the company are capable of doing this. Now, more advanced ways are what we call it API, Application Programming Interface. This requires a bit more advanced computer programming, and a lot is initially done, but once put in place, works for a while until changes are needed. This is needed from both manufacturer standpoint as well as the merchants. You will need to definitely hire an expert for sure. Examples of some core systems that are being used today are on Oracle, SAP, or using Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, or IBM Cloud, to name a few. This is advancing at a very rapid pace due to the advent of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain. As a matter of fact, we're seeing a big uptick for what we call it digital workforce, meaning no humans involved at all, other than the initial specs or specifications or discovery phases, and some ongoing maintenance. So regardless of the exchange methods or technology platform, a syndication process first comes in the PDS. This process should work for both merchants and the manufacturers. The challenge is a high quality and standards-based product data. Something to consider, such as making your product content consistent and accurate across all digital realms. Customize your product catalogs in accordance with your channel's rules and guidelines. The main purpose of product data syndication, or PDS, is to take that stress away from both the manufacturer perspective and the merchant. For manufacturers and brand owners, sharing and keeping product data accurate and updated with retailers and distributors is essential to the success of your brand and business. But getting into the right place at the right time and keeping it up to date can be difficult because every recipient has unique requirements and formats, which can even differ across both physical and digital channels. Again, product data syndication is by allowing you as a manufacturer to share product information, leveraging your data standards and your preferred data transaction method. Then letting you as a merchant to receive that product information, leveraging your data standards, your own data standards, and your preferred data transaction method, where you have controls over many aspects in order to grow your brand. Oftentimes and traditionally, organizations look at delivering their product data tactically, with departments employing tactical solutions. However, this will not be enough from an end-to-end data transactional approach. The approach must be company-wide and inclusive. For manufacturers, this may mean syndicating content such as product data sheets, product images, then things like quantity on hand or stock quantity, or even order status to your trading partners and customers. So consistency helps to accurately share data. Improved partnerships and business relationships with your distributors and resellers to make it intuitive for a new online buying process. Faster time to market with consistent and accurate product information. Say you want to do a North American price increase once and consistent. Because it is standards-based and one set of data and rules, you will have lower costs for trading partners. In turn, you can hire more partners. Now, for distributors or merchants, this helps in getting the right data and content from multiple manufacturers and even syndicating the content, such as product data sheets, images, along with their company's data. Things like stock on hand quantity, or even order status, like we discussed before, to their own outlets and customers. You can display your brands and story, but provide wealth of data from your manufacturer. Easier on the IT folks because it is coming from the horse's mouth, so to speak. In essence, very cost effective. You can offer boutique service to your audience since the data within is pretty good. Again, same thing here. Lower cost for partnership management that will allow you to hire more partners. Really, the first step is to capture data from various systems and then map to your trading partners' requirements. So a lot of data upload and download and mapping needed to happen here. Mapping also means aligning your product data to associated attributing process, meaning tie your SKU or catalog numbers to a data standards that may provide the attributes and values as recommendations. Validation is key. Correct the data sheet to meet compliance rules and requirements. Have a constructive feedback mechanism to make sure that change of such rules is empowering. Finally, you have to publish what is necessary and not everything, including the kitchen sink, so to speak. Automation is key. As things change, you share. This keeps the business relationship strong between you and your trading partners. Deploying analytics is the key. Again, according to Gartner has determined that poor data quality alone is a primary reason for 40% of all business initiatives failing to achieve their targeted benefits. The researching and analyzing is super important, especially meeting your customer needs or consumer needs. Now let's talk about a very specific use case of product launch that is within the systems before even PDS or product data syndication takes place. The first question comes to mind: who launches products in a big manufacturing company for consumption to their trading partners or merchants? Well, not tied to one individual. Think of a consortium of product managers, engineers, plant managers, master schedulers, finance controllers, analysts, and finally, customer service. So these are some high-level steps when a new product is launched. Step 1, product managers coordinates team consisting of customer service, engineering, manufacturing managers, finance controllers, analysts, master schedulers, plant personnel, and product information in light of a product launch process. Step 2, product management contacts customer service and requests that a product be profiled and loaded in their legacy or ERP system, whether it's a homegrown or store-bought. Step 3, customer service uploads these to ERP to create the product profiles. Profiles are initially coded with a specific indicator, also called authorization code, to differentiate a product being launched or a product that is already launched for sale. This also prevents trading partners ordering a yet-to-be-launched product erroneously. Step 4, after product profiles are loaded into ERP system, usually it takes a certain amount of time to further create what we call a G10, Global Trade Item Number, EPC code, commercial reference, SKU, catalog number, or part number in the repository. Step 5, customer service advises product launch team when products are loaded and available in the system. Step 6, product launch team then works with several people in the company. Step 7, when the information about the product is completed, then marketing contacts customer service in order to designate the products are now released for sale. Step 8, product launch team now archives the entire process with data in a secured repository or content management system for legal and record retention. So as you can see, this quality process and data now is ready for consumption across many platforms. This is where PDS or product data syndication takes over. As you can see, this quality process and data now is ready for consumption across many platforms. This is where PDS also takes over to guide but should be the next step in terms of transacting that data to the trading partners. First and foremost, we must expand the product reach. Very quickly and very soon, companies are expecting the increased volume of data and the speed at which it is delivered. Of course, the big players like Amazon and Walmart are requesting full product catalog uploads and fast. Therefore, managing this requires expertise of the respective industry's ecosystem and already established relationship through APIs. So why invest to personalize? Well, the consumers want to feel different. Making it personal is one of the KPI or key process indicator. Consumers expect provided content to be tailored, receiving only the products they care about and the correct content they need to view based on their need in their terms. The product data set should be smartly structured based on search and selling analytics. So it is imperative that PDS, again, product data syndication process, provides the visualization aspects with data and content in a live preview. Then it is just a matter of getting your products approved and published across channels in a fraction of time. Another use case. Product information or marketing communications creates product images, catalogs, brochures, handouts using desktop publishing applications that are enabled by they have their own document management or digital asset management system. Call it DAM systems. The company's website needs its own web content management system as well. Thus, the data about product does not live in one system. The source of the truth is in multiple systems. And more often than not, integrating the various systems is cost prohibitive. However, aggregating and delivering the right information from multiple systems is a must-have for channel partners or retailers to use for their websites or in-store merchandising efforts. Again, this is PDS or product data syndication. Let's talk about an example. To serve up data to trading partners, this is showing a source and a destination. What is being used is to serve up product information, in this case, with an image as an example. Image for this SKU or catalog number is owned and managed by the manufacturer. The same way for product descriptions, attributes, drawings, etc. To serve up to their distributor, manufacturer in this case is sending it to both merchant A and merchant B. The purpose is to get the updated real-time or on a regular basis. The change is reflected automatically. Before, it was a manual process with email attachments that is prone to errors, but now with PDS, it is automated and accurate because manufacturer is changing data on a regular basis that reflects in the merchant A and merchant B. On top, merchant A own data such as quantity on hand or order status is updated by themselves. To summarize, product data syndication is to take that pain away from both the manufacturer side and the merchant side by using a product data syndication process leveraging something called a data lake with a technology platform that either side can understand and adopt easily with data transaction methods. So at this point, I'd like to hand it off to Kate, so to see if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Pulakesh, for all of your insights and techniques. We do have some questions here to address. The first question we received is, the question is related to the exchange methods. What are the simplest exchange methods for small to medium-sized data transactions?
Great question. So the simplest method is the FTP, or File Transfer Protocol, that we discussed before. That we have experienced for our customers so far, this is essentially entailing writing some simple programs or routines, either in the source system for preparing the data set or ingesting the data on the target. An example is Oracle has something called external tables concept. With this, you can map your FTP process and tie to an external table within Oracle system. So when things change in the FTP file system, the data is automatically reflected in the Oracle tables. It is just then a matter of writing some simple, again, additional codes to industrialize the data in the target production tables.
Okay. Our second question, is there often a map between SKU and their associated attributes? What determines that?
Yes, in most cases. That is generally determined based on product taxonomy or hierarchy. If you remember, we talked about data standards earlier. For instance, UNSPSC standards provides an out-of-the-box taxonomy or hierarchy that comes with a set of attributes and values. So essentially, once a product is mapped to, in this case, UNSPSC standards, will automatically come with a mapping of characteristics or attributes and values. And of course, there are other standards too. But again, majority of the companies do not have sufficient data and content at the SKU level, or SKU level though. Now they might have sufficient data at the hierarchy level, but that is not good enough if you're doing business online, especially e-commerce.
Okay. Could you describe a simple example of syndicating data from multiple systems within an organization?
Yes, absolutely. So first you have to determine the use cases, what your trading partners want in terms of data at the SKU or part number level, such as product descriptions, images, attributes, videos, values. Then you'll need to identify within your company who owns that data set. You'll need to not only identify the data owners, such as marketing owns it or engineering owns it, but also figure out what systems they leverage to manage that piece of data in their respective organization. Then you'll need to work with those system owners to share the necessary data sets into a common platform. And finally, create various business rules to integrate that data for the purpose of publications. So the publication medium, again, could be FTP, API, JSON. Example, you can create a business rule where first pass is a simple join at the part number level or SKU level, right? Or UPC barcode level. So once you publish, you will then need to work with the receiver of the data to determine who owns what data and how they can display them. Remember the example we talked about was the quantity on hand.
Who owns the data at the data syndication level? Is it the various organizations or the syndication process?
Syndication process. So the syndication process owns once the data is integrated and have full responsibility for its upkeep. Product managers, offer managers, data architects, typically the product information marketing department folks works with the data syndication process. Additionally, people who are involved in day-to-day business dealings with data improving, scrubbing for commercial, logistics, and technical data for the data syndication process also has a stake in that process and the platform.
How important is data analytics in the overall scheme of things?
Extremely important. So ultimately, it is both the manufacturer and the merchants wants to know how the data is being used. In other words, you have the data, so what do you do with it now? Analytics can show the data consumption from both consumption perspective, and if you're using AI, it could potentially recommend a thing or two that what you should do going forward.
Okay, the last question we have here is, does data syndication help improve data quality?
Yes, most certainly. The simplest reason is because a lot of manual processes that are prone to human error is removed and converted into a process-driven automation that automatically improves several KPIs, key process indicators, in the long run. So when things change from either manufacturer or the merchants, changes are reflected immediately.
Great. Thank you for your questions and for attending today's seminar. A link to the on-demand version of this webinar will be sent to you following our program. For those of you who have further questions about the material covered in today's presentation or whose questions were not addressed in the Q&A portion, please feel free to contact the email address provided on this presentation. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the day and the week.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.